Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got my first flutist on the show, Darryl Jones. So welcome, Daryl.
Thank you so much, Michael. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. I've been excited for this one. I've had a lot of musicians, a lot of singers on the show.
Yes.
Haven't had a flutist yet.
Well, I'm honored to be the first, and just so nobody gets it twisted, I'm Darryl Evan Jones, not the Darryl Jones. You know, the bass guy from the Rolling Stones and
That's
stuff.
right.
Just so everybody knows that. I know
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right. I'm glad you clarified that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't. Well, there's probably people listening and be like, I didn't know he played flute.
Oh, that actually happened to me. I actually lost a gig over that one time.
Really?
Yeah, because I was talking to the promoter on the phone, and I couldn't understand for the life of me why this guy was so excited. And we got the thing booked, and then the next time we talked, his tone was completely
Oh
different.
no.
And then I realized, oh, he thought I was Darryl Jones. I didn't say that. I clearly said Darryl Evan Jones.
That's
But I
right.
guess he figured I never knew Darryl Jones had a middle name. Wrong Darryl Jones. But yeah.
Well, I've found that that's usually what happens. If there's another famous, name, then you might have to put in a middle name or at least an initial.
Actually, I started using my initial when I was around 12 years old. Because- No, because I grew up in the South Bronx, and I took a test to get into specialized high school in New York, and anybody from the city could get in. You had to take the test, right? So at first I was told I aced it, then I was told I failed it, which didn't make sense, and then come to find out the Darryl Jones that failed the test, I won't say his initial, but was another Darryl Jones who I actually went to school with in the South Bronx. So I'm like, okay, this is never happening again. I'm Darryl E. Jones from now on. So once I started performing, I'm like, I used to go just by Darryl and a couple other things, but Darryl Evan Jones just sounded so good to
It
go with.
sounds like a musician, right?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. So I,
Like if
I
you saw that up on a billboard, you'd be like, yeah.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, I always think longer is better for entertainment purposes. I kind of like the longer names.
Yeah,
What do you?
I guess it depends. I mean, because I should have looked this up. I never in all my years, never looked up to see if what was Quincy Jones's full name. I'm sure it's more than just Quincy Jones.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I wonder what that is.
I'm gonna Google that offline. Yeah, let's see.
I'm sure he's got a middle name.
He's got to. He's just a guy like that. Just has to have a middle name. If he wasn't born with one, he's probably given one later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he never like he could have just switched to Quincy, and everybody know him.
exactly. He would have been one of the original single name celebrities because when you say Quincy, nobody's gonna go like Quincy who. If you go Quincy who, where have you been?
That's right. Where have you been? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think everybody knows.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so Daryl, let's start this way. Tell me a little bit about your musical journey. How'd you get into the business? Why'd you want to get into the business? It's not an easy business to get into, and how did you get hooked up with the flute?
I I come from a family of musicians. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Um, everybody in my family is musically inclined. My mother sang in the church choir. My father played guitar. My oldest brother played guitar, and then number two brother plays drums, and the youngest brother plays bass. So
When you all get together, do you have like jam sessions?
not anymore because my we're first of all we're all over the place now.
Yeah.
Nobody's in the same place. But we were growing up. We were the church band in the
Oh, I
church where
love that.
in Harlem.
What
And then
denomination were you?
apostolic.
Oh, okay. Okay. I grew up Baptist. My grandfather was a Baptist minister, and same thing. Entire family, was musicians except me. And I was like, I was the oddball, so I was the one that I can enjoy it. Had no musical talent. Which is
Wow.
rough in a family full of musicians. But
Yeah.
eventually, this became my thing.
It's still part of it. It's still
I
part of it.
mean, I'm doing my part. Somebody's got to get the word out about all the
Exactly.
great musicians out there. So
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I
Well, so what drew you to the flute?
that was a big not debate, but it was unclear for me till about within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
Um, for the longest time, I actually thought my father made me play the flute. And and then he tells me in my 50s, no, you chose the flute. And he told me how it happened. So there was a guy that I knew from DC who was just phenomenal on flute. He was amazing.
yeah,
And he was actually a friend of mine, 10 years older than me. And because I couldn't get my first and second choices, which were piano or organ or drums,
right.
because growing up in the projects, it's not like we can afford a
Yeah,
piano or
they're not cheap.
no. And then my older brother played drums, so no, that nixed it. So I had to find something, and this guy was so good at it and made it look so cool. I was like, yeah, why not that? And then once I got my first flute, it was almost automatic for me. Where like I hear a lot of people when they get a flute for the first time, they're blowing, they get headaches, they get dizzy, and all that. I didn't get any of that. I don't even understand how that happens, but didn't happen for me. Um,
Yeah, because you're expelling a lot of wind. That can give you a headache.
Yeah, because unlike the reed instruments, I mean, flute is technically still a woodwind. Unlike the reed instruments, there is no resistance when you're blowing the flute.
Right.
So when you blow, it's going. You just have to learn how to control that, you know. But it was apparently it was almost natural for me. Got private lessons, which all my brothers and I did.
Yeah.
Played in school, continued to play in church. And then fast forward when I was in about 30-ish,
Yep.
uh, still playing, but I got this crazy idea. It was a question. And I just wondered, you know what? I wonder if I'm good enough to actually do this for a living.
Yeah.
Um, but when you got a wife and babies at home, you don't
That's
just
right.
do that, Somebody got to pay the bills. So kept my full-time job, of course, and began to pursue it in different ways. And yeah, it's a tough business, but there are few things more rewarding than especially if it's an original piece, something you've created,
Right.
and you get to share that with people, and then you can see that it's actually connected with them. There just aren't too many. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's more rewarding than that.
Yeah, I kind of love that
Yeah,
angle. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah,
yeah.
we've been listening to your music, my wife and I, all weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, you're amazing
well,
with that. You were making sounds. I was like, I don't think a flute sounds like that, but apparently it does. Yeah,
well,
it's pretty good.
you say that because a flute maybe it's not supposed to, and I say that a little tongue in cheek, but the reality of it is that growing up, um, I was a little first of all I was a little scrawny kid. I was
Yep,
really small, so being little scrawny kid, little scrawny nerdy kid playing the flute, these things don't do well for your confidence, right?
understand. Yes.
So
Growing up, I was nerdy, so I kind of get that.
right. So my father meant no harm, but the most famous flutist he could think of at the time, and rightfully so, was Hubert Laws.
Yeah.
So my parents went out and bought me a book of transcribed Hubert Laws solos.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, nah, that's not going to happen. I tried, but that's not going to happen. I heard him play, and Dave Valentine, some of the others, um, but because I had no confidence, I was so intimidated, I would never listen to them
Yeah.
because to me it felt like, remember, I'm a little boy, so it felt like people were directing me to listen to these guys to just further suppress
Yeah.
me.
Just to let you know, you're not this good.
Exactly. Exactly. So because of that, I grew up really not knowing what a flute was supposedly supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
I had no problem listening to the Grover Washington Jr.'s and my favorite all-time saxophone player, God rest his soul, David Sanborn.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
just love David Sanborn. I had no problem listening to those guys, and then different instruments, the Chuck Mangiones, and then all different kinds of music. But I never knew what supposedly I'm supposed to sound like on flute. So by the time I decided to play out on stage and start recording and all this, I didn't really know what people expected because I hadn't listened to it.
Right.
So it just kind of became inadvertently, unintentionally organic, I guess.
Yeah.
And people seem to like it, so it's not that bad.
No, it's terrific. It was my wife put you on her playlist. You know, we're a musical household. It's playing all the time. Uh,
Excellent.
but it's she started listening to putting it on when she takes her bath in the evening. She'll do
Nice.
like some meditation stuff, and she put that on as her background music, and she said that worked great. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah, works good till he gets going kind of fast.
I was wondering about that. I really was. I'm like, she meditating to
That's
like,
what I said. But
okay,
she's selective in how
okay.
she's doing
Okay.
that. But yeah, I was like, well, I enjoyed some of the slower stuff, but it's when it gets fast that I really like it because it you were doing stuff that I didn't never thought of the flute as the main instrument, but it sounds so good.
Thank you. And, someone told me something recently. They didn't say it in these words, but basically what they meant was because of the flute and the way I play it, the style of the music overall is something they probably would not have listened to
Yeah.
with a different instrument in the lead. But because of the flute and the way I play it,
Yeah, I
it
agree with that.
changes. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's very hard to explain until you listen to the music.
exactly.
But you listen to it and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm nothing against them, but I'm glad in retrospect, growing up, excuse me, for some reason, I never even thought of saxophone. I never thought of it.
Yeah,
And now today, I'm glad I didn't. Nothing against my saxophone brothers and sisters.
that's right. We love a sax.
They're, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
They're literally everywhere.
because
So,
everybody loves a saxophone.
well, they do, but if I told you the two main reasons why, you probably wouldn't believe it.
No, no, tell me.
Okay, here we go. This is disclaimer. This is not haterade on the saxophone or
That's
saxophonists.
right.
Uh, Part of it, and I don't know how to what degree, is the fact that it is the one singular instrument that no matter how bad you may be, you still sound good because the instrument sounds that good.
Oh, see, that's something I wouldn't know because I'm not musical. But okay, all right. So
You
the
know,
instrument with saxophone it helps you a little bit.
it does because if you suck on piano, everybody can tell,
That's
dude,
right. Very obvious.
there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
But just the tone of the saxophone, and partially because of reason number two, because we, especially in the Western world, particularly in America, we have been brainwashed. Here's what I mean. If you're watching a movie and before the thing happens, they want to condition you that something ominous is about to happen, you usually hear trombone or tuba.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yep.
If it's something dramatic and maybe even heroic, you hear trumpet.
Yes.
If it's something a little flighty, you hear flute.
Yeah. 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 Exactly right. Yeah.
But before the scene even starts, they want you to know it's going to be sexy saxophone.
Yeah.
So we've been programmed
Yeah.
to think that way, and
I
it's
always
hard.
think of I know a lot of people will think Kenny G or something like that, but I always think of the guy from Lost Boys. That's the saxophonist I always think about.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. It just always cracks me up. Yeah. He still believes.
Whatever it takes, right? Yeah. So
Well, I think it was because he was supposed to be kind of that sexy saxophone player. He's up there without a shirt on, all muscled up and everything. And it just always cracked me up. I thought that didn't sound good. It just amused me.
right, right.
What'd you think of the, Will Ferrell's flutist in Anchorman?
Okay, so Will Ferrell, first of all, is he's special. He's hilarious.
He is funny. Yeah.
He is, and he's got his own brand of humor, God knows. But I've had coworkers who have taken the liberty of taking a screenshot of the famous flute lighter scene,
Yep.
and they posted on my wall at work. So I can't.
I just had a feeling. I had
Yeah,
a feeling that you've probably taken some ribbing from it.
I have. I can't get away from the
I
Will
always
Ferrell.
like it. He says a little ham and eggs for you. Always cracks me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a Will Ferrell fan. My dad absolutely hates his comedy. Just can't stand
Why?
it. I don't know. He just thinks he is the most annoying person. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think you're getting it. But he's like, that guy's terrible, terrible. That he's always cracked me up.
Yeah, yeah. With his ability to act as if he's so aloof, uh,
Yes.
it just
I mean,
it,
not everything he does I think is funny, but the majority of it I think is
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. I mean, that's going to be the case with any artist and any
Right.
art form. You're never not everything's going to be a home run. That's
That's right.
just the way it is, and that's what makes it art. Because when you think about it, as an artist, whatever your art form is, you're really always experimenting.
Right.
Always. You really don't know what's going to work. I mean, you may have an idea, and then if it's completely new for you, you really don't know.
That's right.
But that's the beauty of art.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I saw he showed up at the hockey game. Did you see that? And he was dressed as Elf.
No.
Yeah, he went to a hockey game dressed in the Elf costume and was sitting like front row right against the glass and just acting like he was acting like Buddy the Elf, but like Buddy the Elf after he's had a hard life. So he just looked a mess. It's like Buddy has not had a good time since the movie came out.
just made me think about I can't think of the actor's name. I see his face, but the guy who played Bad Santa.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's in that Landman right now. Billy Bob.
Yeah,
Bob
Billy Bob.
Thornton, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good movie too. That's a good movie
Yeah.
too. So is Relentless? Is that the new album that you're working on?
No, Resilient is the current album.
Oh, Resilient. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And
Well,
I
okay.
get
So is that the one that is on the run from that one?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we love that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then the second one was Road Trip. Is that one out yet?
Road Trip is not only out. Unfortunately, the official radio promo effort thing has is over.
Yeah.
But Road Trip actually, oddly enough, and I'm glad for all of it, but oddly enough, somehow on the Spanish smooth jazz charts, it climbed the chart. I think it made it to number 11 or something. Uh, like
That's
let's
kind of awesome.
it's very awesome. I never imagined. I mean, you as an artist, you always hope and you want, but I didn't know like Europe would even know who I am, you
Right.
know. But for Spain to support the way they did,
That's
um,
awesome.
America, come on. Anyway,
You may need to tour Spain.
I would love to. Actually, my younger brother, the bassist, he went with a group. I don't remember anything about it, what they did or anything, but I know they went group of musicians, and they went to. I want to say Madrid. I want to say Madrid. I'm not
Yeah.
certain, but I don't really care. It's Spain. I want to
It's
go.
Spain. Yeah, you need to go. Yeah, my wife's going to Portugal for work here
Wow.
in a couple weeks, and I'm like, you could take your husband. We always have that rule. Like the first trip she goes for business, I don't go with her
Okay.
because it's too much. She's setting stuff up. She's busy.
Right.
But the
Right.
second time, that's open. You know, if
Right.
I want to go, she's got to let me go on the second trip. But yeah, so she'll be gone for. She's going to let's see, she's going to Portugal and Mexico City, and then I think maybe the Dominican Republic. Oh, and Brazil. She's gonna be gone for like a month. She's all over the place.
I can't imagine Brazil. My goodness,
I know. I'd like to.
yeah, I'd like to more than imagine it. I'd love to experience it. But there are several places around the globe that I really am aiming to perform in.
Oh, you
Uh,
need to. Travel's the way to go, I think, because it inspires you. It kind of opens you
yes,
up to new experiences. That's the
yeah,
way. And if you're a musician, you need to share that everywhere. Why not?
exactly. I mean, I've been to Asia 4 times, to Europe twice, but it wasn't for music. It
Yeah.
was for it was for business. But I was already open to it, but I that solidified it for me. You really need to be in different parts of the world
Yeah, yeah.
because while I love us here in America, I do. We are so geographically secluded from most of the rest of the world, most, you know. And I even told somebody, I said, you got to consider that how our states are put together and their proximities. That's the way a lot of countries are
Well,
over
yeah,
in
that's
Europe.
Europe, basically.
That's it
But you
pretty
can
much.
take a train or drive anywhere.
Yes. 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 And I'm Europe, Asia, parts of the Middle East, Africa, South America. I want to see and perform on every part of this
Yeah,
globe
you
that I can.
should. Well,
Yeah.
so what was road trip? Obviously, you're talking about a road trip, but what specifically is that song about?
Okay, so Road Trip is officially the second radio single off the album.
Mhm.
The album Resilient, notice the close cousin to Relentless.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I had Relentless down. I got Resilient too, but yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. I was like, I must have wrote that down wrong. But yeah, so there were two
yeah.
of
So
them.
they're basically two traits on different sides of the same coin is Relentless and Resilient. And Road Trip is a song about the journey that one experiences while they're trying to fill out their mission in their life, and hopefully encourage people to enjoy the journey. It's the destination is great, it really is, but you miss the whole point if all you do is focus on the destination and don't enjoy the journey on the way there. So that's what
Oh, I
road
love
trips
that. I love that.
really.
You know, it and I know you're talking more than an actual road trip. You know,
Yes.
kind of journey in life and all that stuff. But just you know, kind of connected with that. My wife and I love to take road trips, and we always love the destination, but we really enjoy the trip. You know, kind of sightseeing. We take our time. We usually leave a day early. You know, and
Yes.
we really enjoy the trip. So I can kind of see it, you know, as an actual road trip, but
Right.
it also works for life too.
It does, and I've cautioned people about listening to Road Trip literally on the road in their car, because it may, disclaimer, it may have a tendency to make you drive a little bit faster than you
Oh, I
should.
think it would.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because it like some of your some of the music we were listening to, it makes your heart kind of speed up a little bit. You know, so I could see that if you're in a car, I could see you putting your foot down on the gas.
yeah. Just don't mail me your ticket when you get
That's
it.
right.
So that's the
Not my
disclaimer.
fault.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't my fault. It was that flute guy. No, not
Is that flute guy?
yeah.
But so on the run, I mean, like when you do your albums, are are all the songs telling a story, or do they each stand alone?
They on all the projects thus far, every song tells a story, but the story that it tells will always lend itself to the greater theme
Yeah.
of the
I,
project.
I love albums and
Yeah,
projects like that. So on
yeah,
the run, what's the meaning to that one? Because I'm sure it's connected to
yes.
road trip.
On the run, I don't want anyone to think anything negative. And it's funny I use the word negative because, because
You
the
know, if you
purpose
stay negative, that might cause people to think negative.
it might it just could. But on the run is intended to for my point of view is my choice in how to deal with negativity.
Yeah.
I will literally run from it. That is the only thing I'm going to run from. I don't run. I don't even run from things I'm afraid of, and there are things I'm afraid of. I'm not running from them. But negativity is so toxic,
Yeah.
and it's so contagious
It is
that
so contagious.
you stand still long enough, it will consume you.
Yeah.
So I choose, I'm not going to step away from it. I'm going to run from it. So my entire life from henceforth, I'm running, I'm on the run from negativity.
Oh, I love that. I'm pretty sure that's what my wife does. You know, she cannot. If you start being negative, she'll just walk away. She doesn't even acknowledge you. She just leaves.
Good for her. Good for her because it saps your energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, everybody, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody's plight. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got problems.
Everybody's
Everybody's
got
got issues.
problems.
So why dwell on them? You're going to deal with them in your own way. But if you want me to join you in your pity party, there will be no RSVP.
Well, I've told all my kids are grown now, but I've said that to them before. Hey, I'm having a pretty good day. Don't bring your negativity or bad energy in here. And they'll be like, well, we had to come over. And I was like, no, you didn't. I was like, if you're in a bad mood, stay home.
Yeah, and it's not to say that I don't have empathy and sympathy
Well,
because
that's
I
right. Now I can, if it's something I can help with, that's a little
right
different. But
right
but usually if you're in a bad mood, you're just in a bad mood. So you're just putting that negativity, you spiral a little bit. Everybody does it. So,
exactly
you got to fight against that. That's why I tell the kids, I was like, keep that to yourself.
yes
When I'm having a bad day, I go off by myself.
yeah yeah absolutely.
Well, so are you releasing singles and then are going to release the whole album, or is the album out
The
currently?
album is out.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Okay.
the third radio single was actually the title track, and we released that late last year. I'm saying late because it was probably like October-ish. Yes, it was. In fact, it was on my birthday. It was October 11th.
Oh,
Um,
I'm the 24th on October.
October people are awesome people. I'm just
I
saying.
agree. I agree with
Yes,
that.
yes. So we released that, and there's something called Urban Influencer. It was on their charts.
Yeah.
I must be really good with the number 11 because I believe it topped out at number 11. Go figure.
You're so close to cracking that top 10.
Yeah, yeah. And to be fair, and I'm sure every artist thinks that their music is the greatest thing they've ever done, and you should,
And you should. That's right.
unless man, that was really garbage.
Yeah.
But
I didn't put much effort into that one.
right, I don't believe in putting out fillers. I really don't.
Yeah.
So probably we're almost to February, so probably late spring
Yeah.
will be the fourth. It'll be technically the fifth release off the album because we released a music video for The Grind.
Oh, I forgot about the grind. We love that one.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a good one. And yeah, we saw that video. That was well done.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of videos, right in time for Black History Month, we're actually releasing a video that has nothing to do with the album. It's actually a song that I had composed that originally I thought would be on the album. And then when my youngest daughter, who happens to be my musical barometer, She's told me, Daddy, that doesn't fit. It
Yeah.
it it
All right.
didn't. It just didn't fit with the flow of everything else.
Yeah.
Wonderful song. It's actually mostly instrumental Afro-Caribbean song.
Okay.
And we just launched the video for it today, matter of fact. The video's out today,
Oh,
but
that's exciting.
the single's getting released on the whatever the last Friday
What's the
20.
name of this one?
This is it's spelled M-I, but it's pronounced me Antilles.
Oh,
So the Antilles Islands,
yeah.
it's yeah, it's a song of remembrance, um, uh, celebration of of the ancestors who were taken from Africa and worked the plantations
Yeah.
in the Caribbean, who later, and including today, not all, but many now thrive.
Yeah.
And it's a song of triumph, a song of hope,
Oh, you're
and
putting that out at a great time.
absolutely, absolutely. Again, not trying to deal with negativity,
Yeah.
just not trying to. It's just not going to help you, right?
No, it's not.
So we're not
That's
trying to
true.
put lipstick on a pig here. We're trying to just put out good stuff to help lift people up.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a good way to describe your music.
yeah.
It's
Oh, well, thank you.
uplifting. Yeah,
Thank you.
I think it's one of those you listen to it when you're done listening, you feel better, and that's not always the case with music because music kind of it can take you on a lot of different journeys, but
I
yours is
hope that's
always
the case.
good.
Thank you. I really hope that's the case because, excuse me, um, being a musician
Mhm.
and becoming a recording and performing artist, I believe that though I've been allowed to do so many cool things in my life, I really believe this is what God has commissioned me to do. Um, and in doing so, nothing against anybody who does it, because different things need to be done for the same purpose.
Sure.
As I'm above, and first and foremost, I'm a Christian.
Yep.
Um, so I believe that the best way for me to exemplify to people my allegiance to Jesus Christ is in what I do, because anybody can say anything,
Sure.
but
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Actions speak louder than words.
actions speak way louder. So in my physical actions and in my music, there should always be this positivity, this joy, this uplifting, and even if it's something that's somber, because I'm actually strongly considering revisiting a song I did years ago.
Yeah.
Of course, it's instrumental, and but adding some touch of lyrics in it, where you can feel with this song. The song is called "Love Come My Way," by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
"Love Come My Way" is
I like the
actually,
title.
thank you. It's told from the perspective of someone that doesn't know love. They've never been loved. They've heard about it.
Right.
And though it's the flute that is singing their part, you can hear the emotions through the song where this person is pleading out to love. And then when they get a little sour about, a little bitter, and then when they plead again, and then you can hear when love actually does come and visit them, it's kind of
I
emotional.
love that because the flute is really good at conveying emotion. Yeah, so
Yes.
you can. I totally get where it would take you on that journey. That's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully sometime later this year, I may revisit that. But in the meantime, like I said, we have Me and Tilly's now. Um, Probably late spring. We'll be Stick With It
Yeah, yeah,
from the Resilient album. It's likely the very last thing we'll do is to put out Thrive, which is the last original from Resilient. And then later on in the year, more than likely, other singles will be released that again got pulled from the album
yeah.
because they didn't fit.
They didn't fit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh, one of which is a song I co-wrote with my younger brother. It's called Closely. It's actually a beautiful jazz, um, part bossa nova ballad. It I love the song. And then another one will be a song that I actually co-wrote with a childhood friend from Chicago. His name is Stanley Reeves,
Yeah.
and the song is called Reflection. Um,
I
and
love
not
that you just got all this lined up.
Yeah,
you're just kind of trickling it out, but it keeps you front of mind.
that's the point. It's something I had to learn about the business, because if producing an album is not cheap.
No.
So if you produce an album and you throw the album out there, and you've got a radio single to try and promote the album, if the people really dig it, the problem is you made this big splash and people are like, okay, what's next? What do you mean, what's next? I just gave you 10, 12 songs. I've emptied the pot right now. And now you got to circle back a year or 2 years later with another project. By now, they've forgotten about you.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah,
That's something
too
I had to
much.
learn.
There's too much out. It's
There,
hard to keep yourself above the noise. So
yes.
if you only release every so often, you tend to drop down below it.
Right. And to be honest, now with the essential death of CDs,
Yeah.
people they're not apt to go after an album anyway.
Right.
They're really not.
Usually it's if they're getting the album, it's just because they typically like, they're old school. They like to have that physical album. But yeah, most people now, it's all streaming.
Right. Streaming. Love. I won't say love, hate. Love, tolerate, whatever. But streaming, God help us.
I know. I think a lot of us have that, same. There's a part of me that just kind of misses the, 3 television channels. No, you had to physically buy your music if you wanted to listen to it. There's a part of me that kind of misses those days.
Oh yeah, there's a part of me that not just kinda. I miss it. Back when at a certain time TV would go off.
Oh yeah, about 2 o'clock, done.
Yeah. And for the record, folks, in New York, we actually had 4, because we had the 3 major networks, right. And then we had Fox 5.
Yeah, and we didn't get Fox till like 1990. That was our 4th one, but it was like
really,
yeah.
Okay, and then we had a channel out of Secaucus, New Jersey, Channel 9, whatever it was, but that's how it was.
We could get 5 if we had that extra dial. We could turn it to 33 and get PBS.
Of course, yeah. I grew up on public television. Grew up on Sesame Street. Loved Electric Company.
I loved Electric Company. Back then, I grew up in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
They used to show Doctor Who on PBS. So I would watch it. They used to show us that in school.
Wow. That's PBS is how I found out about Morgan Freeman, because he was
Electric Company.
On Electric Company, and then all of a sudden he was gone. Next thing you know, he's on the big screen.
Right.
But it was Sesame Street.
His voice was too big for the Electric Company.
It was. Let's be honest. It was. But between them, Sesame Street, Electric Company, Zoom, and Mr. Rogers.
Oh, I miss Zoom. Yep.
Yeah, had a steady rotation of that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What is Summertime on this album too?
Summertime is from Relentless.
Oh, that's Relentless. Okay.
That's Relentless.
Yeah. I wrote that one down because we liked it, but yeah. Okay. So that was from the previous. Yeah, that was a good one too.
Just so everybody knows, Summertime, I did not write Summertime. Everybody knows I didn't write Summertime. But what I did was, there eventually is supposed to be a song that uses the bass line you heard in Summertime.
I like that.
What happened was, this is going years back. I had a gig it was actually a competition at the Capitol Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
And I forgot whatever else I wanted my band to play, but everybody showed up late for rehearsal. And
we already established you hate that.
Right. So, I remember I told them, I said, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do one original, which was Dream from the previous album.
Yeah.
We're going to do a cover of, I think it was Yesterday by the Beatles.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And we'll do Summertime. I said, but here's the thing. We're not going to do it quite the way anybody's ever heard it. So I gave that bass line to the bass player. And everybody was like, yo, that's crazy. But it's so good.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. Yeah. So
I listen to music. I couldn't tell you what you've done or why it's good. I can just tell you if it's good.
Yeah. And that's all. That's all. You just remind me of something we used to say. We still say it actually because I'm in commercial aircraft maintenance. That's what pays the bills
Oh
right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the expression is, listen, I don't need to know how you make the pizza. I just need you to bring me the pizza.
That's right.
So
I'm hungry. Just bring me the pizza.
as you enjoy the pizza, I don't need to know all the ingredients. All right, just make it a good pizza.
Does your daughter play an instrument?
None of my daughters played. I have three. My wife and I
Oh,
have
you
three
got
daughters.
three of them. Yeah.
No sons. Um, my oldest is a gifted dancer.
Okay. Yeah.
My middle her gift is actually her nickname is Mama because she's always been very motherly. She has this God-given gift
That's a
where
talent.
it
Yeah.
really is. Now she actually did play. She played flute in junior high school, I think, and then as soon as she could get away from it, she did.
Yeah.
I think they might have required them to play an instrument. My youngest plays no instrument, but she's not only a very gifted dancer. In fact, she has a degree in dance.
Yeah.
That's her minor. But her ear for music is just out of this world. Um, all my girls are kind of old souls when it comes to music,
Yeah.
but just like myself, we'll listen to anything that we like. We don't care about genres. We really don't.
Yeah.
But she's the kind of person that when I'm in the creative process and I will call her in and let her hear something and okay, what do you think? And she'll give me the yay or nay or whatever. In fact, she was involved with On the Run because the melody that you hear was not the original melody.
Oh, okay.
The original melody I actually get to way late in the song. Um, and when I did that, she actually preferred the melody you hear. That's why that's the melody.
Oh, I love that. So
Yeah.
she's helping.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that they obviously got some of the creativity. It's just coming out in different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's it's a beauty to see when your kids become their own people and all that, and they can still be involved. And I have no bigger cheerleader and support of my music than my wife. There simply isn't. Um,
That's great.
to be married to and tolerant of a musician, number
Right.
one, um, but a musician who is Daryl, number two,
Yeah.
that takes, I'll admit it, that takes a lot.
See, I say that same thing, except instead of musician, I say podcaster, and then Mike instead of Daryl. But
Well, yeah. See, we
he
know.
puts up with a lot.
Yeah, yeah, we understand.
Well, Daryl, thank you. This has been terrific. I'm glad we got to do it. Any plans to tour this year?
Yes, plan or hope, but I think right now what everything is kind of, I don't want to say waiting for or hinging off of, but in a way it almost is. It's we're expecting a major splash from of all things, the Me and Tilly's project.
Yeah.
Though
Oh,
it
I
has
think you'll have. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think that'll be big for you.
Yeah, though it has nothing to do with the Resilient album.
Yeah.
We believe, in fact, it's supposed to go to national media next week. That it's going to create such an impact and a splash and a buzz that, as I told a buddy the other day, I said they won't be able to ignore me much longer.
Ooh, I like that. I like. Yeah. I'll do my part. I'll share it around when you release
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that'd be terrific. Before I let you go, Daryl, and you have to come back. At some
Absolutely.
point, you got to come back, give us an update, and maybe, you're in Tennessee. We're not that far away. Maybe
Right.
you could, head down my way some point. We'll come see you.
I would love to have actually. I haven't been to your part of the country in over 20 years.
Well, it's time.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah.
So a couple things, Daryl, or I guess just really one thing before I let you go. If our listeners or watchers want to know more about you and your music, do you have a website and are you on social media?
Yes, website is dejmusic.com
Yep.
and social
Yeah, it's
media.
really well done. Do you do that yourself?
No. And now that I think about it, no, a very, very dear friend of mine. She actually designed it for me. Now that I
Yeah, she did
remember.
a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was Nikki Canada
Because
out of.
a website, it's hard enough to design. It's even harder to maintain.
Actually, the way she did it, she went through all the pain of the design and made it easy for me to maintain because I maintain it.
Okay. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
there's just a delay. You're just adding a step if you got to send it to somebody else. Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
got you.
So,
Yeah, I do ours too, which
right.
is why it's not as updated as it should be.
It will be.
It'll
It,
get there. It's just a little behind.
thanks, Nikki Canada. Thanks for that. Um,
And then
it's just,
social media. You were getting ready to say that.
yeah, social media. So Facebook, Daryl Darryl, Evan Evan, no S. It's not a last name. Jones music. Daryl Evan Jones music, and on Instagram, Daryl Evan Jones.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, everybody, please go and follow me. Because here's the truth. In the business, the only thing that the movers and shakers care about are numbers, and you can't blame them.
That's right.
So, unfortunately, my Facebook numbers are not where they should be because I had to start all over again
Oh,
about
it's
a
the
year
worst.
ago because the
Yeah,
page got hacked.
I
So,
know. It's the worst. I wish people could leave stuff alone. I
yeah,
know. It's just the way it is.
it
No, it
is.
makes perfect sense. We run into that with the podcast. I'm the same way. I'm constantly asking people, please follow, please follow, please follow.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
All right, Daryl, hold on one second. We have to do this again. This has been the best.
I appreciate it. A
Yeah.
lot of fun.
All right. Darryl Evan Jones. He is crazy talented. I meant it when I said I didn't realize a flute could make those sounds. It's unbelievable. Do yourself a favor, check it out. On the Run Road Trip out now. And The Grind, if you want to watch a terrific video, that one's great too. Absolutely love his musical talent. Just a great guy. I really enjoyed that. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you so much. I would love to have your support. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free, helps us out. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find almost 900 episodes, audio and video versions. And also let you know anything that we have going on. Meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.